The Galactic Union had encountered many species throughout its 10,000 years of existence, but none quite as perplexing as humans. When first contact occurred, the Union's diplomats expected Earth to follow the typical pattern of integration, gradual technology sharing, cultural exchange, and eventual military cooperation. What they hadn't anticipated was the human obsession with fortification. Commander Trill of the Galactic Union Observation Corps watched from orbit as yet another massive structure rose from the plains of what humans called North Dakota. His three eye stalks blinked in synchronized confusion. "They're building another one," he said to his science officer, Vex. "That's the seventh this month." Vex's translucent appendages waved in agitation. It defies logic. The Union guarantees protection to all member worlds. There are no threats that would require such excessive measures. The structure below wasn't merely a defensive position, but a sprawling complex of reinforced walls, artillery emplacements, underground bunkers, and shield generators that the humans had adapted from Union technology. What the aliens found most puzzling was that humans built these fortresses not out of immediate necessity, but out of habit, almost instinct. "Request permission to speak with their commander again," Vex said. Minutes later, General Tom Miller appeared on their communication screen. His weathered face broke into what humans call a smile, but which always made Trill's skin ripple uncomfortably. "Commander Trill, checking on our progress? General Miller, the Union Council has expressed concern about your continued fortification efforts. May I ask why you persist when we have repeatedly assured Earth's safety?" Miller chuckled. "Commander, throughout human history, those who relied solely on others' assurances often didn't survive to regret it. We appreciate the Union's protection, but humans sleep better behind walls of our own making." After the transmission ended, Trill turned to his crew. "I failed to understand. Their history is indeed violent, but so was every spacefaring species at some point. None responded by turning their planets into armed camps." Lieutenant Mira, the ship's cultural specialist, spoke up. "I've been studying their literature. Humans have a concept they call Murphy's Law of the belief that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. A pessimistic outlook," Vex noted. "They would call it realistic," Mira countered. "They prepare not just for known threats, but for theoretical ones." The Union's confusion only deepened when, 6 months later, the unthinkable happened. A species unknown to the Galactic Union emerged from uncharted space with devastating technology. They bypassed the Union's early warning systems and launched simultaneous attacks on 14 border worlds. The Union fleet, unprepared for such an assault, scrambled to respond. 3 planets fell within days. The Council, in panic, ordered all resources diverted to the front lines, leaving recently admitted worlds like Earth with minimal protection. It was precisely the scenario humans had prepared for. When the invaders reached Earth 3 weeks later, they didn't find a vulnerable world ripe for conquest. Instead, they encountered a planet bristling with defenses. Fortress cities, interconnected defensive grids, and dispersed military installations presented not one target, but thousands. Admiral Kraz of the invasion force circled the planet, searching for weakness. "Their civilization is young," he told his war council. "They should be defenseless without Union support." "Scans indicate otherwise," his subordinate replied. "Each population center is heavily fortified. They've adapted Union shield technology in ways we've never seen." Kraz decided to target the seemingly less protected areas first. The invaders deployed ground forces to establish beachheads in remote regions. At a Union refugee center on Proxima 2, Commander Trill received the first reports from Earth with disbelief. The human fortresses, objects of confusion and mockery among Union species, were holding. General Miller's transmission came through a secure channel. Behind him, officers moved purposefully across a command center carved deep into a mountain. "Your colleagues thought we were paranoid," Miller said without preamble. "We hoped they were right. But humans learned long ago to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best." The invaders, expecting quick victory, found themselves bogged down in brutal engagements around each human fortress. What they couldn't know was that humans had designed these structures not just to withstand attack, but to serve as bases for counteroffensive operations. By the time Union reinforcements finally arrived, the humans had not only repelled the initial invasion, but had begun pushing the enemy back using captured technology. In the aftermath, the Galactic Union Council convened an emergency session. The Union's military doctrine, unchanged for millennia, was suddenly under scrutiny. Species that have looked down on human paranoia now sent delegations to Earth to study fortress design. Commander Trill, appointed as liaison to Earth's Defense Force, stood with General Miller atop the North Dakota fortress that he had once questioned. Your species saved not only themselves, but possibly the Union, Trill admitted. The Council has voted to implement what they're calling the Human Defense Initiative across all member worlds. Miller nodded. Building fortresses isn't about fear, Commander. It's about respect. Respect for the unknown and unpredictable nature of the universe. I understand now, Trill said, his eye stalks dipping in a gesture of humility. When we first encountered humans, we mistook preparation for paranoia. We saw your fortresses as monuments to fear. We now recognize them as testaments to wisdom. Miller looked out over the plains, where construction had already begun on an expanded defensive network designed to protect not just Earth, but to serve as a fallback position for the entire sector. The thing about humans, Commander, he said quietly, is that we don't just build fortresses of steel and stone. We build them in our minds, in our communities, in our resolve. When everything else fails, those are the fortifications that truly matter. Trill realized that the greatest fortress humans had built wasn't physical at all. It was their unflinching determination to survive, no matter the odds. And that perhaps was the most formidable defense of all.